Retail and hospitality is changing, with often complex and fragmented systems combined with large volumes of customer data for businesses to make sense of. It's critical to work with the right partners in order to guarantee success. At Clarets Consulting, we help retail and hospitality businesses transform their technology, removing overly bloated processes and creating unified and efficient systems of working throughout. So don't just take our word for it. See for yourself. Clarets Consulting, the leaders in technology transformation across retail and hospitality.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the All Things Borough podcast, the official podcast of Farnborough Club, and sponsored by Clarets Consulting. I don't know why I was going so slow there, because I was trying to read it at the same time.
I thought you got in slow motion. I thought, what's going on here?
Yeah.
What, I'm going to have to reset my router. You've slowed down.
I was trying to read it, because it's been a couple of weeks. We had a couple of weeks off. I was trying to sort of remember it and read it at the same time. But welcome, everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. It's our first one back. Simon, good evening. Happy New Year to you. Did you have a good Christmas?
Good evening, Alan. Yeah, very good, mate. Yeah, thanks. I'm very good. So I was just getting into the whole theme of going slow. Yeah, very good, mate. Yeah, I sort of dragged the episode out and I haven't got much to talk about. You know what I mean? Yeah, all good, mate. Happy Christmas, Merry New Year, and all that.
I asked you a question though, Simon. Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah. Oh, sorry, we've already been through that off air, so I've already answered that one. But yeah, for the
viewers aren't privy to what goes on off here, though.
It was very quiet. Thank you for asking. But yeah, New Year the same. I was in bed 11:30, got woken up by the fireworks. But yeah, it was all right, mate. Yeah, not bad. In fact,
11:30. Why don't you just stay up the extra half an hour and watch the fireworks?
I do it deliberately every year. I'm not really a New Year's fan, so I decided to go to bed.
That's because well, everybody knows this, but you're a miserable bastard anyway. So
that is true. But when it comes to New Year's, but no, GB News had a good program on. That was quite fun. I did watch that. So,
yeah, but we're not interested in that. So
that's that. Well, you asked me what I did. That's what I did. There we are. Anyway, how was yours, Mr. Ostler?
Yeah, no, good. Yeah, a few family members around for Christmas. Lots of games, lots of food and drink. And then I had my kids down from Grimsby for a week after that, up until New Year's. And I stayed up on New Year's Eve to watch the fireworks. I wasn't staying on long enough to watch Ronan bloody Keating sing. So I went to bed straight after the fireworks finished.
I was going to say, that's wonderful. But I'd have to say, no one got you a razor for Christmas. It was a bit of a shame. That's someone didn't obviously read the notes. But
just like our guest, everybody loves a beard. It's not. You've got to skip past this, Simon, because we all know that you are unable to grow a beard. So you just need to skip over this, skip past it, just get over it. Stop being so jealous about it.
My days of skipping, mate, are long gone, mate. Long gone.
Move on. Just move on from it. Move on from it.
As I said, my days of skipping are long gone. I've got the old motif going now. It's going strong.
Yeah. We all know what you look like with that.
Taken 6 months to get this far, so there we are. Anyway, we should bring our esteemed guest in.
Anyway, yeah.
How is Christmas? Because
New Year's done. It's a new episode. We've got Chelmsford this weekend, so we've got Louie who is Chelmsford. No, Clarets Xtra. That's what you are. Yeah, Clarets Xtra on Twitter. Good evening, Louie.
He's not got off to a good start either, has he? Jesus Christ, he's really struggling.
Evening, boys. Happy New Year.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, you too. How was Christmas, New Year? Nice, exciting.
Yeah, it was good. Thank you. It was ruined by some football towards the end of the year, but yeah, no, it's, sort of Christmas is always good. Always a sort of time to sort of have some downtime before we go again for the big year. So yeah, it was nice. Thank you.
Happy days. Yeah. Do you get anything nice this year?
No, I'm getting old now, so it's just a case of getting like your work jumpers, sort of socks, and all that sort of stuff.
When you get to our age, then you can start saying that, mate.
Okay.
You mean you're still playing football? I mean, that's when those days are long gone for me now. You know what I mean? When it gets to the point where they're telling you not to turn up anymore, that's when you've got to go. You've got to hang your boots up.
You always got walking football,
That's true. Yeah, we're not quite at that age yet. I think it's 50.
We're not quite at that age yet. We're close.
We're at the in between sort of no physical exercise whatsoever stage, and then getting yourself plumped up, ready to go in goal for the walking football. That's what it's all about.
I should say though. So Simon did say that when it gets to the point where they're telling you not to come, I'm at the point where they're not even calling anymore. So they don't even. I don't even get the. Don't worry about coming tonight.
Just delete. Just the number. Your phone number gets deleted. And
yeah, I've been deleted. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that's sign of the times, isn't it? Yeah, I'll mention that because you've been out playing football this evening, haven't you? What's the weather was a bit naughty this evening I hear.
Just constant rain. I think the rain started now for the storm that's coming. I don't know what the name is of it, but I think it's meant to rain all the way through to Saturday now. So
I'm going to say Gertrude, but that's not correct. I know it begins with
something with G. Yeah,
it's some French. I think it's some French name. It was whatever. So obviously, other than Pierre, I don't know any other French names or Jean Paul. Yeah, that's all I know. But I know it's not one of those two. But there we are.
Look, yeah, shut up, Simon. Look, did you manage to get to any games over the Christmas period then, Louie?
Yeah, so thankfully I went to Enfield on Boxing Day. That was good. I think it's 4-0, maybe with 4. I think they might have got a consolation, but I'm pretty sure that was probably our most convincing game of the season. There's not been. I don't think there's been many. Probably that and the FA Cup mauling against Braintree. Didn't quite get out of Norwich the Monday night when we played Dagenham. And then our game since then has been called off. So, yeah, we haven't played since 29th of December now. So,
Yep.
Yeah, so before we touch on how the season's gone for you, or how you feel the season's gone for you guys, we'll just talk a little bit about the Dagenham game, because there was a little bit of trouble when we were saying off air that even at Farnborough, we've noticed in our games more that's happened, but there was quite a bit of damage as well to the club as well, wasn't there? I think there were some chairs thrown or bins thrown and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I think, because obviously we're sort of new to the segregation game. It's the first time this year that we're properly doing it for league games. I know we've done it for the odd playoff games here and there, but officially for like league games, this is the sort of first year where we've mainly introduced that. So it's just the sort of case that there's a turnstile down that's one side of the athletics track. And they sort of put some temporary barriers up, so it doesn't take much for either home or away, support to knock that down, and then it's whatever you can find, just throwing it. So I don't think there's been any sort of damage to the ground. I mean, I think we're seeing a sort of a spill from sort of higher leagues. You don't really see much of what you see in non-league now is what you probably saw in the higher levels probably 10, 15 years ago. Obviously, I think the sort of prime age is now. It's a lot younger. Most of the trouble which happens is between sort of 14 to 16-year-olds. They're all contacting each other pre-match on social media, probably arranging meetups and stuff. So it's a lot easier now for people to, social medias can be a troubling place for some time. So yeah, it's definitely one of its dark sides, football rivalries and stuff like that. So, yeah, it happens. It's not exclusive to Chelmsford and Dagenham. It happened with other clubs, especially with the rise of attendances across the league. I don't think it's really fair to blame a particular fan base in that occasion. I think it's just two sets of fans from both, and they're both just sort of being idiots. I think you've probably seen the viral clip that's gone around on TikTok. Yeah. This guy literally just stood there like, what the hell is going on? Like, there's no barriers. So it's all sort of just, I think it's fun and games to them, but when you look at it from a wider perspective, it does sort of just question, the point of being there. But
yeah, it's not. We all agree. Exactly. It's probably not. It's no sort of Green Street scenario, is it? No. But it's it's sort of a bit worrying. It's creeping in at this level, isn't it? And also it goes against what a lot of clubs are trying to promote as well, which is like a family atmosphere. Come down, get close, bring your kids, get close to the pitch, see players in the action, that sort of stuff. And
I think you sort of, you're not inviting it on, but when you obviously get with these rising crowds, obviously they're not fit for that many people. Like we had 3,000 there on that game against Dagenham. Like they're so close to each other now. It doesn't take much between each set of fans to get people riled up or a bit of banter.
No, of course.
It's easily said and done. So
I did agree with I think it might have been. I think it was Spencer Gore, the chairman at Chelmsford. I had a little bit of sympathy for him because obviously he made a statement either the day after or a few days after the game and said, look, it wasn't anything we could. Somebody only because someone mentioned about the lack of stewarding, and it was because he said, well, we'd only sold 1,000 tickets, like up to up to the day before the match. So we literally weren't expecting.
Yeah.
That many people. Suddenly we had 3,000 come through the door. It was a bit unexpected, really. So.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do, and I think he was actually approached at half time to sort of say, something may happen in the second half. It's getting quite heated, and he sort of responded was, "Well, there isn't much I can do." So as much as he owns the club, or he can't just all of a sudden call in a swap team to separate. You've got what you've got. They're there. So no, it's one of them things. The club will learn for that going forward. That was our first game against Dagenham probably in years, like especially league wise. We're not playing in the cup, like Six Cup, but no, we obviously Dagenham. They're 20 minutes down the road from Chelmsford, so it's a local derby. A lot of spill out again from West Ham, especially if West Ham's poor form this year. Both fans are spilling out to Chelmsford, Braintree, Dagenham, all the sort of non-league clubs where they're local to them, and it just causes an uproar. And that's just it's happened, and maybe we'll see more of it this year.
Yeah, it is.
It's unfortunate. It's not.
Yeah, Sorry, I did like your point though, Louie made about it's not, you can't just blame one set of fans, because obviously we're talking about a particular match at a particular time, but obviously we've had a few bits at Farnborough that have gone a bit haywire. There was Dorking game. There was a bit of trouble after the Salisbury match.
Yeah.
Last season, we had Weymouth, where our goalkeeper and his family got abused. I mean, it's very sporadic. We're not saying it's an epidemic of any proportion whatsoever. It's just the odd match here and there seems to get over.
Yeah. Every club's got its idiots, but sometimes it all depends on how many idiots you've got and if you can control them or not.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's also the comes as shooting. Anyway, before we cover that, 'cause it's quite a big issue. How's your season been going, Louie? You've had a reasonably decent start, and it's sort of, I think I would be fair to say things are sort of plateaued a bit, and you're maybe not meeting expectations possibly the fan base were hoping for.
Yeah, I think this year the expectations are so high. I think naturally with the money you spent, I think if we had this exact season last year, which we pretty much did, maybe a little bit worse, a little bit better. There's sort of, you get yod mode and grown, but now we're full time. We train the most out of everyone. We're not doing hybrid full time. We are full time. But we don't even look like we're part time. It's quite embarrassing. I think when I've spoken to you in the past, I'm big on sort of teams being sustainable. Not spending stupid money. Obviously, we've got money now, so it's not like the case of we could go bankrupt if we don't go up this season. That's not my concern. But my concern is, we've got a striker on, in Lyle Taylor. He won't have come cheap. Got a very expensive squad around that, and you've got there's countless times this season. And I'll talk results aside. I'm very much talking about performances here. We've played part-time sides like Hemel, Salisbury, other lights of that, and we've been outrun. Yeah, it's January now, and at the most recent sort of forum that we've had, our manager said that the players aren't fit. How has it got to January and you only just realised that? That's what I mean. I think that there's a lot of sort of excuses in such as, it's a transition season when, going from part-time to full-time. I was like, well, there's not really much. You're just training more. All of the players you're signing are from full-time backgrounds. We got a completely new squad. Again, that you can rely on that excuse. We've got so many new players. Every team in the National South, bar a select few, gives players 1-year contracts. There's no team that bangs out 3 or 4 year contracts every year and keeps the same team. You may get the odd team, like a Dorking. They will keep about 60-70% of players, okay? But that is a minority. Most teams, from day one of this season to day one of next season, I guarantee the starting 11, they'll have 2 or 3 players that will start their same game. There is no excuse, especially when you're on a full-time basis, there is no excuse for you to not be as fit as part-time teams. As well, tactically, it's just been poor. I think a lot of the frustration is with the football that's being played is we don't really see what's going on. And again, those expectations are, we are training 4 times a week, maybe even 5 times, depends on we've got a game. How is there no game plan? How are teams with a part-time game plan, like Worthing? How can Worthing, who train twice a week or whatever they do, how can they play the football they play? We train 4 times a week. We don't even look half of what they offer with double, triple the budget. So it's just like, I think it's, I feel bad in a way for like Angelo, because I think, it is, the expectation is high, but it's not been good enough. We squandered a massive opportunity to play in the FA Cup third round again. Part-time opposition at home, Western-super-Mare. No, like discourage any of these part-time sides. By the way, the league is such a good league. But yeah, your full-time side against a part-time side at home in the FA Cup, biggest ever opportunity to get in the third round. We did not lay a glove, not even close. Like they literally outran us, like tactically beat us in every single way. When they went 1-0, there was no sort of like, oh, we're going to get a goal. I don't think we had a shot on target in that second half. It was very like, we lobbed a centre back up front, hoped and just slung it forward. We are literally just aimlessly hoofing the ball forward. We've had players that are kicking off at training. They've since our sort of assistant coach has left, or basically all of our staff have gone. But all of those staff that are now gone, the training's now been run by Angelo and assistant, but the players have moaned about the actual quality of the training. They said it's not been good enough, especially when you've got players like Lyle Taylor who've been there, done it high leagues. They sort of know what to expect. They know what the levels are. They know what a good session is. And yeah, the word on the street is that it has been said that the training's not been up to scratch, which is worrying. We're also now on 31 plus players for the season. We're signing players like there's no tomorrow. I think that tells you a lot when a club goes to announce a signing and your fans are annoyed. In any other season, you are signing players, here and there, and every time you'll be like, oh, good. Like, even if you don't know who it is, you're like, when you see that the signing's coming, you're like, oh yeah, here we go. Now it's just like, really? Another one? Like, it's so pointless. The amount of players that we had, like, we'll announce someone, get a loanee from Ipswich. He plays one game, we never see him again. Literally, it's just absolutely bonkers. It's nothing like I've ever seen Chelmsford before. It's just like, it's obviously off the pitch. It's saving. Yeah, it's saving everything at the moment, because that is the sort of get out of jail free card. Like what Spencer's done for the club is incredible, and he'll be thanked for years for that. Whether from whatever happens from now, he's done so well. But I think he sort of he is basically the man making all of the football decisions as well. But obviously he's not from a football background; he's all business. So he's there like trying to negotiate with players and all this sort of stuff. And it's just like, you need a middleman here. You're telling us, and you're doing the post-match interviews for the manager. That's not really what you're meant to be doing. And he's saying, I'm on the phone to Angelo 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. every night, every day. And you're like, well, if things are not going wrong, why do you need to be on the phone to each other? Things must be going wrong. He must be demanding X, Y, and Z for him to be on the phone to each other every day. Why are they, why do they don't understand? It's not the transfer window. It's not June. They're not trying to constantly sign players. They've got established squad. Of course, we've got a couple of injuries, but not nothing massive. We've still got a very good squad. We should be minimum. There's no excuse for us to finish less than third this year. Third would be par, and that's just going off the squad we've got. And as well, let's give credit to Angelo. He's literally got promotion in this league from a team with a much smaller budget. So a good coach doesn't turn bad overnight, but the underperformance this year is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's sort of selfish in a way saying this, because sitting 10th, 11th in the table, when I know you guys are sort of down there. I know you guys have had your struggles this year. But if you're sort of weighing it up, how much we've spent, what we've done to get where we are, we're probably doing a lot worse pound for pound than you guys are. It's just hard going to watch a team who have literally everything on a plate and they're getting beat by the most simplest of instruction, tactic players. It's just like you just think, what is going on? Like, what something isn't right, but it's just not being fixed.
Yeah, I think when at the beginning of the season, when everybody saw and we all saw the signing, the money that you were spending, the signings that you were bringing in. Me and Simon probably talked about it, and I think we probably thought, you know what, this is a good season. This is going to be a great season for Chelmsford because with all this money that they're bringing in and the signings, we thought, you know what, this is it. This is your season. This is the season that you're going to go up.
Yeah, it still can be. It honestly won't take much tweaking to get them like that. We have the possibility there. You've got the squad there to go on an absolute run.
Is it the problem with the manager then? Is it Angelo the problem, or is there, like you say, is there something else? Because obviously, look, the backroom staff have gone.
So yeah, all of our previous staff were here last year that carried on. So Simpson left, but all of the sort of staff, like the head of recruitment, assistant manager, sort of other coaches, they all stayed. But again, they weren't. The environment at the club on the pitch has not been good this year. It's been sort of reported like widespread, like it's really toxic at Chelmsford at the moment. Obviously not off the pitch, fans are always going to be content with the owner, but yeah, it's like, but they all basically left just due to not being happy in their roles. They didn't.
Sorry. Do you think that off the pitch, like with the coaching staff and that, then they're not, even though the club have gone full time, then they're not themselves actually prepared for full time football? Because obviously the players are, because they've done it before. Yeah. Like you say, people like Taylor, they come from that full time background.
Yeah,
they know what to expect.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think there's been some really poor player management decisions this year. We've got like how quickly we are to get rid of a player. If that, Josh Hedges, one of the most promising talents in the National League South, comes to Chelmsford. He starts the first league game. Might have even started the second one. Yeah, he starts his first two. Okay, yeah, he's in the number 10 position, probably not his favoured position. Okay, he doesn't have great games. Don't get me wrong. He was, not the best, and we get rid of him straight away. It's like, yeah, just released him. It's just like crazy. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of like one-to-one management skills with these players. Like there's no sort of sympathy. Whilst we've got a few players, a lot of the players that are still here because they're on obviously these full-time contracts, I guarantee you a lot of them have been pushing for moves. All I hear is that players are unhappy. Chris Hayde has just gone to Sutton. He nearly left. He's been trying to leave pretty much all season. He nearly went. We obviously got a loan keeper in Dylan Adai from Bromley. He come early in the season. At that time, Hay had nearly agreed to transfer Worthing when just as Hinchelwood came in. So there's just lots going on. I personally think so far. I mean, look. Harrop looks like he'll be given the time. Spencer likes someone that basically tries, and Harrop definitely does that. He's really committed to the role, you can tell. Whether that means he's the right person for the role is a completely different question. But so far, I would say, yeah, a lot of the issues has come from the fact that we've got no identity, no plan B, and we're not fit. We train 4 times a week, and it's taken us to January to realise that we're not fit. Firstly, how do you how are you unfit compared to part-time teams, and 2, how to take you that long to figure that out? Again, massive questions.
You're definitely filling me with lots of joy here, but you saying me all this stuff, Luke. So I was thinking about Saturday's game, thinking, a bit of trepidation here. It's the Ricky Holmes derby, we were going to get battered, and then I've brought my mind back to when we went to your place on a Monday night and stuffed you 5-2, and it was our best performance of the season, probably still is, and probably other than Dorking. But yeah, that was, to be fair, if you go back that far, that was October. But you think back that far, and you think, how did that come about? Because we weren't being particularly good form, and then we went to your place.
No, to be honest, I know exactly the game you're talking about. I don't actually think that was one of them games where I think you guys were just so clinical. I don't actually think Chelmsford were that bad in that game. We have been bad, don't get me wrong, But that game, that was more like you guys, like I think Polly on, like some of the finishes you guys were taking was just ridiculous. Obviously, it's fair play on the night. But yeah, I don't think essentially that score, like should that game have happened again in the exact same moment, would that have finished the same? I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's the concern is that we're actually regressing. So the start of the season is actually when you looked okay. You know, we've been told that we're going to be getting better as the season goes on, as we evolve, but we're getting worse. And this is what makes no sense. It's like we're getting more unfit. We're looking worse. There's no plan B. There's no tactic. This is what we were told. We were told we were going to start a bit meh, which we did. We started all right, but a bit meh. And it's just like sort of gone down. We obviously had the FA Cup sort of run, but again, we've only really, if you look at it, we beat lower league sides. We beat Chippenham at home in the fourth qualifying round. Again, I think we had to rely on that late. That's a 4-3. If you look at budgets, we shouldn't be relying on a sort of late winner. On paper, obviously, football's not paid on paper. Don't get me wrong. And then off the Braintree game, that was just, I think the atmosphere just took their young side to pieces. We did that. The Braintree game is the one thing that sort of gives me hope for the rest of the season.
You did well in that game. I watched it was on telly, wasn't it? On the
it's literally
telly. I watched most of it.
Yeah, that game, Enfield away, are probably the only two performances. I'm not looking at results. I'm looking at where I thought, okay, we look like a good side here.
Yeah, because Braintree were a decent team. Obviously, I was a bit annoyed because talking about that game because that should have been us, not Braintree. But we played them and they turned us right over really, and they were pretty clinical, pretty good. And I thought, whilst you can see they're not one of the better teams in the National League, you can see that, but the way they play, and they've got a way of playing, and they're quite very physical and very athletic. And I thought, they're decent. And then you beat them really well. And I thought, here we go. Chelmsford are on the rise here now. And you got some of our old players playing for us. Where you got Ricky Holmes and Taylor Clark in the middle. How have you before you answer that question? How have those guys settled into your team? Are they doing well? So Ricky's playing a more sort of defensive.
So again, this is a massive thing as well. Look, the players that we've got underperforming is absolutely ridiculous. Like Jack's injured now, but to sign Jack Barham from Aldershot last year, 10 goals in the National League. He started up front. We were just launching it long to him. He's only got one goal. A player of Jack's quality, a serial goal scorer in the National League South, in his prime still, like he's 28 or something like that, and he scored one goal. And I just think like there's too many players like that. Again, Ricky, like if you look at how many goals or whatever he got for Farnborough last year, I know he's getting old, but I don't think there's a goal or assist there for him this season. Like there's just so many players like who have just regressed over the year, and it's just like that. When there's just so many in that exact same situation, it's a coaching issue. It's not player issue. If it's one player, you think, okay, yeah, fair enough. But like we've got a winger now from Oldham, Jezrun, can't pronounce his surname. Again, like he was actually in the playoff final squad when they went up to League Two last year. We've done very well to get him. He was at Eastbourne, but again, he's got one goal in that FA Cup game, but he's sort of struggled since. Sam Follering, again, another signing that we had. He started so well when he came on loan. He was actually Hartlepool paid a fee for him in January 2025, so 12 months ago. So we got him on loan, which was a really big coup. Started well, and then again he's regressed towards the end of his loan and we've ended up sending him back. It's just we've not got one player where you think, we've got our value for money there. It's just so average across the bar, underperforming everywhere on the pitch.
You know what? It's very, very familiar story with Farnborough. I'd say we're in a lot of fans' viewpoint because a lot of our fan base are saying that there's Spencer, our manager's got a lot of stick this season, more than I think he's ever had. I think, and he's under quite a fair bit of pressure, which is again more than he's ever had. Obviously, due to our current position in the league and the results being we've just been very very inconsistent. And a lot of the fan base are saying with our team that we're putting too many square pegs in round holes, not playing people in the right positions, and maybe trying to fit around the system rather than getting players in to actually play in the places where they should be playing. So for me, the reason I make that point is because when you think of Ricky Holmes playing for us, he was a sort of he'd play in the heart of the midfield, and he'd be the guy on the front foot, getting forward, getting into space and going. And he was, when he played for us, he was just told, when you get the ball in the middle on the edge of our box, just drive forward because it'll bring the whole team up. And it seems to me maybe he's being shackled by some kind of management decision, or the way the manager particularly wants to play, or maybe doesn't feel like that's the best way to get the best out of Ricky. Would you maybe agree with that, or was that something that you?
No, the players for us have been in the right positions. Jack Barham started up front, and I think obviously as Lyle Taylor then comes in, I think you sort of then got to make room for him, and he's been pushed out wide. But he's played wide for his other team. Everyone else, I mean, Ricky Holmes sort of played on the wing a bit for us to start with. He's since sort of moved central, like in that holding role. I know he's not had a bad start, Ricky. He's played a lot of minutes for us. That's dropped off the last month or so. But yeah, like Taylor Clark, another example of what I was saying a moment ago. I think he got a red card against Western Superman. I think ever since he's sort of been blocked from training. So again, really poor management from us, if that is true, which I do believe it to be, alongside a few other sort of good first team players, which would get into a lot of National League South sides.
Can you divulge any more on that? What when you say players blocked from training, literally not allowed to train, or not?
Yes, I think obviously because we're full time, everyone's on a contract. It's not part time now. Chuck someone a quick non-contract, like pay as you play or dual reg. It's all proper full time contracts now. So and with the turnover we've got, it's just relentless. I think also we're trying to make way for make room for new players, so we're literally players out of favour. I think there's 3 reported players that have just been training on their own. They're not allowed to train with the first team, just in order to sort of get them to make a move. So Angelo's
and Taylor Clark is one of them.
I believe so at the moment. Yeah, he was suspended for a few games, but since he's meant to have come back, he's not. Apparently he's been sort of reported away. So again, I wouldn't be surprised potentially if you see him back at Farnborough or another sort of National League South club in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the case. I mean, he did really well for us, and we were a bit. There was a lot of rumours around the summer that we were gonna sign him. He was one of the ones.
He's another player. I think it's another player. Fair to say, with a new coach or with a sort of not under this regime, should I say? I think he's a player that would absolutely flourish. There's definitely qualities there. He's got a couple of good goals for us. He's been playing holding midfield. He's a good size for his age. He's for a young player. He's quite tall. He's strong. He does he's not the most consistent of players. He can sort of tend to lose the ball quite a lot. But there's definitely a player there, or a player you can sort of grow there. But I think we've just got sort of, there's no sort of players, like I said, at the moment, which are sort of progressing in from where they should be. Again, Archie Tamplin, fine example, our best player last year in the heart of the midfield. He's sort of coming back into his form now, but he's nowhere near he'll admit that himself. He's not been at the levels he was last year, and there's just too many players with that, and that's just how it comes down to a coaching issue, especially with all of the other ongoing stuff. It's just at the moment, unfortunately, all the good work that's being done off the pitch, it's just being spoiled by ridiculous antics on it.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor Clark for me, in our team, he'd be an ideal fit in the team. He would fit in a position. So, Spencer, if you're listening to this, not your Spencer Taylor is not Spencer Cole. If you're listening, or you need a player, there you go. Taylor would be ideal in our position. He'd take the Aaron role, kind of holding midfield role that's been missing pretty much.
Yeah, and he would be good for you as well. We've got. I don't think at all that I come saying with our squad. Maybe it's squad club bias, supporter bias, but the squad there is ridiculous that we've got for this level. I think comfortably, with a not overachieving coach, but with a competent coach, I think the squad that survives comfortably in the league above. If they're at full capacity, at the moment we're about 20% where we should be.
So while you're obviously you're bashing the coach a little bit there, and by results and the way the results are and money being shelled out, I think probably rightly. Obviously we know that you got blocked on Twitter by the chairman, Spencer Gore. Have you had any word back from him at all on that, or
no? So I actually contacted him myself a couple of weeks ago, just on Instagram. Actually, just sort of contacted him just to give my opinion. No offensive language, no insults, no swearing. He sort of just come back saying that I'm not a professional football advisor, and then decided to block me after I responded back. So, you know, I think he likes to be the sort of star of the show. He wants it, he wants the, he's paid a lot of money, he wants the cameras, he wants the light, he wants everything on him. He doesn't like any sort of criticism. He does take, I think, he doesn't seem to be able to take that too well, just because he's so used to, the fan base being so positive. He thinks, any sort of criticism is unfair, and it's, all of that sort of stuff, which I can understand.
I think in this industry, you have to sort of take a bit of criticism because it's a results game, isn't it? It's a results business. So when the results aren't going your way, you have to expect a little bit of criticism to come your way. Yeah. And to block someone, who is a person like yourself who is a fan, it shows a bit of a sign of that he's maybe a little bit rattled by
absolutely. I think as well. I think the main point that I've made to is nothing about what I'm just saying. I think you're making these decisions. I think you need to get someone like a director of football or some sort of sporting director which can do that for you. I think you're putting a lot of money into it. You want to get your money's worth. You don't want to be sat mid-table with the biggest budget in the league for 5-10 years. You actually want to be able to do something. I'm not saying that he can't exceed in what he's doing, because throwing that much money at it, regardless, you will eventually get somewhere. That's what football is, money dominated now. That will happen. But yeah, I know it's out of all of the last few years, obviously it was 2 playoff campaigns and a mid-table sort of season last year, that I've never been this sort of frustrated or annoyed. It's the sort of football that you watch and you just think, I don't even want to come. And I genuinely, I've been with 10 winless in previous campaigns, and I've sort of always had that motivation. But I think again, it just comes down to what you've got, and it's just seeing underperforming this, and it's just stuff that I'll just take the most out of football. I know, I think that maybe it's just a football perspective, and so many football fans are entitled and they expect so much, and I think that people think if you've got X, Y, and Z, you deserve to beat that, and maybe this is the case here, but at the end of the day, we're full time. We train the most out of everyone in the league. We've got the most paid player in the league, potentially, other maybe than Andy Carroll at Dagenham, who also owns the club. So whether that will be the case, I don't know. And it's not. Just that we're underachieving on a massive scale. Massive scale.
I don't think even your chairman can really deny that based on everything you just said.
Yeah, I think he thinks it's going to change. Obviously, fans don't want to hear that. Fans, when something goes wrong, I think fans just want change immediately. I think personally, the time, there's just so much evidence and things that have gone wrong. So many people that have been unhappy, the environment. I think there's enough. If it was just if we were in the position we're in now, but we were having good performances, the player morale was good, and there was sort of a good sign that we're going to go on a run, then there would be no issue. But I think the thing is we keep getting told, we're only this amount of points in the playoffs. It's if we play how we have been for the first half of the season, we are nowhere near that. We will be lower than where we are now. We've again, half of the wins we've had has relied on sort of just Lyle Taylor doing what he does, or one of just again a highly paid player just sort of getting up. We've not tactically been great in any game.
Obviously with the Ricky Holmes derby coming up on Saturday, obviously the fans will travel down to the game and maybe look forward to it if the weather holds off. But is there anything for the Farnborough fans to have to maybe keep an eye on? Obviously, Lyle Taylor you've mentioned a few times. Is there any other Chelmsford players who you could probably point out to say, he's really good, watch out for him? And also on that, what kind of system is Angelo playing these days?
We're normally a 4-2-3-1. We'll just boom it along normally. Obviously, not every single time, but in terms, there's not really a game plan, which has been our problem. It will just be sort of try and keep it on the floor, I guess, and try and go forward. That's what our owner said in the interview. We're good when we play on the floor, but we're not very good when we go long. That's all. And I was like, well, yeah, cheers for that. But how do you coach that? But anyway, we'll be a 4-2-3-1. Lyle Taylor will be up front if he's fit. I'll have 2 wingers. The player you want to look out for again is probably Archie Tamplin. The energy he brings in the middle is very good. He's sort of got like a bit of a skinhead, good sort of size. He's just got he's got legs. He'll run. Obviously got Big Joe Grimwood, who he broke our record for the centre back. Really good in the air, so balls in the box. He should eat them all. But yeah, again, a lot of the players will be making their debuts. I think we signed about 3 or 4 players since our last game. We've got a new keeper, because obviously Chris Hayes now gone to Sutton. We've got Joe Wright. I think he got the Golden Glove maybe last year for Eastbourne. He was Eastbourne's first choice. We got a permanent move to Barnet. We've now got him on loan. We've just signed a guy from Luton today up front. Again, why we've done that, I don't know. We've just loaned out a striker to Set 3 who's we're trying to potentially be nurturing, but now just loaned him out just to get another youngster up front. Again, doesn't make sense. And we signed a right back from Eastleigh when we've already got 2 right backs. Yeah, it's questionable what's going on.
It sounds to me like we could do with some of your players, to be fair.
Yeah,
we're struggling. I know we're struggling a bit for numbers at the moment. We've had
I'm sure if Spencer calls Angela, we've got loads to dispatch. Whether you can afford their wages that we.
Yeah, this is the issue.
You don't know.
Yeah.
That's the question mark.
Well, Spencer and Rob don't like spending the money, especially on loans. We tend to just pay expenses sometimes for some loans, and that's why we end up being a bit second best sometimes on the loans. But
you guys have got some good players though. Like you guys,
I was going to say that. Yeah.
I think like 20th probably is an underperformance when you look at. I don't get me wrong. I know your team isn't spread out with quality. You've got like good players in certain positions, and again, so you've got like your Billy Cliffords, your Aaron Kuhls, Jack Turner in goal. Obviously, you then got Polly on Bingham, Bloomfield up front. I think you've had that. It's not Penny Collis. I know he's gone to Billericay now. You've definitely had some investment in certain areas. I don't know what's the sort of exact problem. I know you sort of said about
probably the 2 players to kind of look out for is actually probably a bit unknown to everybody really. Is Hakim Sander and I've got the other guy Amir on the wing. Amir Hadi, on the wing. Those 2 guys are really good. So actually, when we were playing at the start of the season, Spencer sort of tried to get all 3 of the big name strikers in, with Bloomfield playing as a kind of a false 9.
Yeah, that's why it's never going to work.
No, it just didn't. I don't think it's well. I think he might have got around the idea mainly through injuries and things happening to one or 3 of them. That you can't play all 3. So we actually look a lot better when we have Hakim on the right, on the left. Sorry, Amir Hadi on the right, and then we have one of the 3 up front. When they've been fit, we've also got Sean Jeffers on loan from Bedford as well.
Yeah.
He's a good player. He was at one point when he was at St Albans for quite a few years. Did quite well there. We have got lots of options in forward areas. But just where we are lacking really is a holding midfielder. That's why we mentioned sort of Taylor Clark, because we were since Aaron Cole got injured, it's been an area where we struggled, and we had Teddy Tarbutton for most of the season. He's unfortunately gone back to QPR. Gone back to their development team, so he won't be around. But I know it's an area that they're looking to strengthen, because we do need some numbers in there. Billy Clifford's obviously had a few injury issues this season. He's obviously not getting any younger, but he's great when he's got his foot on the ball and passing forward, which is good. But yeah, it's a little bit of an inconsistent results wise, and also lineups wise as well. We all seem to be changing mainly from a 3 at the back to a 4 at the back sometimes, and then the next week we'll go back to a 3, and then we'll try something else. You know what I mean? But we have sort of come down on the system where we're playing a 3-4-3, and it's actually working all right. We've got a couple of guys on loan from Charlton, Ollie Hobden and Toby Bowers, they're both really good players. They're young, got energy, and they play in the wing back areas. So they're 2 to look forward. So probably in the wide areas, mentioning those 4 players is probably our strongest area, which is weird to say that. Bearing in mind, you think our spine of the team was sort of Jack in goal and Robbo, Lomas, and then you've got Billy Clifford, Aaron Coulden, and you've got the 3 strikers all through the middle of the team. You'd think now that our actual best options are on the wings, which is quite strange.
Nice. Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Al? My analogy of our team? I can see you nodding away.
Yeah, it was a bit long-winded, but yeah. No, I think our most dangerous player at the minute is like as you're saying, Hakim Sander. He's got electric pace, and the ball literally just sort of sticks to his feet. when he's running with it, and defenders just keep backing off and don't want to dive in through fear of taking him out. Because he will win us a lot of fouls with the way that he runs with the ball and the way that he attacks the defence. So yeah, he's definitely one for you guys to look out for. And I'm sure that obviously the clubs do their own scouting as well. As they'll know the key players in each team, and who to look out for. So it just depends on how you guys and our guys do on the day, really.
I can tell you
You
this much. There's no way Ricky's going to catch up with Hakim once it gets going. I tell you that.
No, he's lightning. He's lightning quick.
Yeah.
But Louie, you're coming to the game, aren't you? Are you looking forward to coming down to Cherry Road?
Yeah, Farnborough is one of my favourite stadiums in the league. So speaks for itself. I think with that stand, a couple of stands you got behind the goal, and just like the hospitality in general. I think it does depend on whether obviously I've got to pay for my travel and stuff to come down, but it depends. Obviously, we've got the storm coming, so whether whether it's going to be worth the journey. Should the game be confirmed as on, I'll be there, but whether that's going to be like a 2 o'clock pitch inspection, I'll have to sort of weigh it all up. Yeah, no, I do.
Obviously,
weather dependent.
Yeah, I think it'll be an early. They'll call it pretty early. I think they will. It'll be a 9 o'clock jobby, I think. So stand by your beds, literally.
Yeah, the few games that we have called off over the years, they've always done it fairly early. It's a bit of a bugbear of mine and Simon's when teams do late, really quite late postponements, and then and it just annoys the fans because obviously you've got the travelling fans like yourself that are having to come far. I think it happened a couple of years ago, last season with Aldershot.
Yeah,
sorry to all the Farnborough fans for mentioning that name, but but they had a game. I can't remember who they were playing, but after their way to
it was past
and the away fans were already in town.
I think it was Halifax, wasn't it? I think Halifax at home or something.
I can't remember, but the away fans were already in town.
Yeah.
And there was a video showing up.
But probably a worse one that we've seen recently was, I think, wasn't it? Was it Morecambe fans that travelled down to a game and it got called off?
Yeah, they were 5 minutes from kickoff. That was last week.
Yeah. And they called it off for player safety concerns or something. Where one area by the corner flag apparently was still a bit frosty and hard. I don't, as usual with these things, they don't ever take into consideration the fans. It's always about everybody else, and then the fans are thought of last. They're not thinking, we'll give it another 2 hours, but it might fall out in time. And you think, well done, if you do that, the fans can't leave because they don't know what they're going to do. So some of them are halfway down the motorway and have to turn around and come home again, which is really poor.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get you.
Louie, before we let you go, before we wrap this up, I want you to tell us what you think. How you think your season is going to fare, because looking at the table, you're 14th. I think you're 14th at the minute. 14th at the minute, level in points with Chesham and Dagenham. How do you see your season going? And if it's not that good, what do you think needs to be done to change? What needs to change?
If we carry on how we are, we'll finish no better than 9th, 10th. If we make a change, we could easily make a late run for the top end of the playoffs.
Because you're only 9 points behind 7th place Hemel, so it's achievable if you go on a good run. Yeah,
we've got games in hand, but if we play how we have been, no chance, absolutely no chance.
In your opinion, is it a change at the top that needs to happen, or is it a player personnel change that needs to happen?
The squad is more than capable. Yes, it might have been underperforming, but as I say, there's too many players to underperforming for it to be an individual issue. So, unfortunately, I do feel like we need to, obviously, I think the next couple of games are going to be really crucial. But the player turnover, the training comments, the people being blocked from training, the money being spent, the personnel that got Lyle Taylor up front and you're 14th in the national state in a part-time league. It's not. You can't put paper over cracks on stuff like that. So I think unfortunately, if there's no improvement in the next game or two, there'll be no choice. The owner is really reluctant to make change. I think because obviously, Angelo does try so hard. He's in every day, such thing. So, I think I think he acknowledges that, and I think that's why he's got that extra bit of time at the moment. But ultimately, fan power and sort of social media influence that does take its toll nowadays, and sometimes it will become. We're not far off it being untenable. Dagenham was very close, I think. But yeah, I think if we have one or two more bad performances, it becomes untenable, and there's just no turning back. You've got to keep this campaign alive. You cannot afford. Well, you can. We can afford it, but how we can sort of write off this season with the money spent, that would just be absolutely ludicrous. This is not a transition season. You don't pay, X, Y, and Z amount of money for a striker, a 34-year-old. He's probably going to retire at the end of the season. Why put that in a transition year? This is not a transition year by any account. Anyone that tells you that is putting paper over cracks. We are absolutely underperforming at the moment, and it needs to change.
Yeah.
Well, look, just before we go, get a couple of predictions from you for your next few games. So you've obviously got us this weekend. You've got Weston-super-Mare at home the following weekend on the 17th, and then Horsham away on the 24th. So it's based on you saying that the next few games are going to be a key. What are your predictions for those games, score-wise?
I feel like Saturday it will be close. I feel like there'll be a 1-0 margin. I think we might win that one. It all depends on the conditions and stuff like that. Again, if we go one down, that's probably it. Weston-super-Mare next week. We played them twice already. I don't think in those two games we've had a shot on target against them, so that we'll probably we played at home against pretty much all the full-time sides. Dagenham we lost 4-1. Torquay we lost 2-0. Ebbsfleet we lost 1-0. We were meant to play Mason, they got called off. Worthing, team at the top, they were literally just as Hinchell would come in. So it was his first game, they beat us 2-1. Dorking drew 1-1, but again, they absolutely dominated us. An anomaly result, we did beat Hornchurch at home. That was always on that little bounce on the FA Cup. But yeah, apart from that, our home run against sort of good sides has been really poor. So yeah, we'll definitely lose to Weston should no change happen. And then Horsham again, they're a side, they're part-time, but they work hard and they're getting results against good sides. So again, we'd easily fall over. So I can see definitely losses in the next two games. But
they're going to be tough games though. They're tough games those two because they are Western a second, Horsham a sixth. So they're obviously flying and doing really well themselves.
They're more well drilled than us, by an absolute mile at this stage. Things can change. But yeah, I haven't seen too much. When we played Farnborough last time, that was, again, you smashed us scoreline wise, but I think it was fairly close. That's why I think Saturday, it does depend on early momentum. I don't think there's a clear winner. I think it's going to be close. It'll be a good game.
Yeah, do you know what? I think you're spot on with Saturday because we're like yourselves. We go one down, it's curtains. And I think it's the same for you, isn't it? If you go one, we score. I think whoever scores first, they're going to win that match. So it's bound to be like 5-4, and we'll score. We'll be ahead 4 times, and you'll nick it at the end. But you know what I mean? It's like that. I've had that feeling with us for quite a while. We've got quite a young team, and we're lacking a little bit of experience, a little bit of backbone. So once if you concede first, you can see the heads sort of go down a bit. You think, oh, we could be in for one here.
Yeah, but yeah, I look forward to it. Hopefully it's on.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is. Yeah. Look, Louie, don't go anywhere. We'll have a little chat when we come off. But let me say this episode was sponsored by Clarets Consulting, taking your business visions and turning them into innovative reality. For more information, visit claretsconsulting.co.uk. Thank you, everybody, for watching us on YouTube. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Simon, say good night.
Yeah, thanks very much for watching and listening. Like Alan said, don't forget press that subscribe button, and you'll get all of our episodes pop up on your YouTube when they arrive, when Alan can be bothered to download them.
Louie, thanks for coming on. Like I said, don't go away. But yeah, great. Hopefully, we'll see you on. Simon will see you on Saturday. I won't. I'll be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium watching the Aston Villa game, but then play Aston Villa in the FA Cup. So unfortunately, I won't be at the game. But if you are there, I hope you have a good time. And yeah, so we will be back soon with another episode. See you all later.